Today I thought I'd kind of go over everything I've got on my Jeep at the moment. About 1.5 years ago, I kind of did a build video kind of showing what I've done, kind of what the progression was getting to that point. But quite a few things have changed from then till now, and so I've talked about it in some of the different videos here and there, but I thought maybe I'd just go back through, do a complete build on my Jeep, exactly where it sits right now. I've got it where I like it pretty well at this point. I'm sure there's gonna be some more changes, but probably nothing major, unless we do a Hemi swap, which hopefully somewhere down the way we'll do, but that's not anytime in the future, or not anytime in the near future. So anyway, so why don't we start at the front and we'll just work our way back and go over kind of what I've done. All right, so we'll start here on the front of the front of the Jeep. We'll start with the bumper. This is one thing that has changed from the original build video. This is a Rebel Off-Road Summit Series bumper, and I really like it. I like the design, the style, it looks good. A lot of the reason I switched was just to get the winch down out from in front of the grill here. Just a little more airflow through. And I've noticed a difference when I'm pulling my turtleback trailer when it's hot, pulling over hills, and by doing that, it's actually helped keep the engine a little cooler. So anyway, so I got the Rebel Off-Road bumper. So in that, I've got the Warren Xeon 10,000S winch, which is the synthetic rope, which I really like. Used it a few times here and there, and it works awesome. Then I went with factory 55 Fairling, and also their attachment to hook to your ropes or whatever to pull people out or get yourself out or whatever. So moving around here to the side of the vehicle, the only thing I've done in the engine compartment is I went with a dual battery setup, a Genesis dual battery. So other than that, everything's stock. It's a 3.6 liter, gas engine. So anyway, that's the only thing I've done inside the engine compartment. So let's go over the suspension and some of that kind of stuff. So one thing that's changed from the last build is gone with a TerraFlex long arm Alpine IR long arm kit. And at the same time as I did that, I changed the spring rate on my coilovers. Made them a little stiffer just to hold it up better for the 40-inch tires. It's having some problems with just not holding up good, holding the Jeep up good and off the bump stops. Not so much the front, but the rear was really bad. So anyway, so I went with the long arm kit, and then the coilover kit is a Rebel Off-Road kit, and I like it. Between doing those two changes, it made a huge improvement in the ride of the vehicle. And then got the hydraulic bump stops. I've got Dynatrac 60s, the XD Pro Rock axles, super touch strong. It's nice not having to worry about breaking things. So that's what I'm running for the axles. For the tires, I'm running the Nitto Trail Grapplers. They're 40-inch, 1350 on a 17-inch wheel. The wheels are the KMC Machete beadlocks. They're super, I really like them. I really like the tires too. The tires, I've been very impressed at how well they've done on all kinds of terrains, and not super loud on the street, but they do well in the snow. They've done well on the rocks. They've done just well on everything. So super happy with those tires. Don't have any plans to change from going from the Nitto Trail Grapplers. And then underneath, we're running the Metal Cloak skid plates. Put those on not too long after I bought it. So still running those. Work great. So when I made the adjustment or the change to the long arm into the coilovers and raised the Jeep, I actually like the stance a lot better than I did before. But it's also improved, especially in the rock crawling. It's made a big difference on getting over obstacles. There's one obstacle in particular that I went up. It's a pretty good ledge. You got to climb up over. Right after I got the coilovers on the first time, and I got over it, but I had to bump it I think 3 times pretty good, and then I was able to climb up over it. After going to the long arm and lot of what it is the coilovers, which raised me, you know, a bit. That same obstacle, it just drove right over. A lot of it's, before I was hanging up on it just a little bit, and this now it's not touching. So it actually surprised me. It climbed over it so well. So really happy with that setup right now. So I'm also running the Rock Jock anti-rock sway bar in the back. Still running the stock Rubicon disconnect in the front. But I also went up to a PSC steering hydraulic assist, which is what I've got on, which has made a world of difference. I mean, before I went to the 40s, with just the 37s, you get in the rocks and yeah, you're locked up. You can't turn a lot of time. You just got to work at it. With PSC steering, you don't even know you're there. I mean, it just goes through things so easy, and I've actually seen it push big old rocks, pull up an obstacle and back up to adjust, and it just shove a big old rock, just shove it out of the way, and you can't even feel it on the steering. So I don't know, you're running this big of tires and doing this kind of stuff, you about have to have that. So anyway, I got that on the front. I think that's pretty much covers most of the suspension. So then moving back here just a little ways, I'm running the Motobuilt rock sliders, which have been super strong. I've had the whole Jeep sitting down on them before, or against them. Got some scratches against them and then down underneath from rocks. I've been really happy with them. They've been very strong. One thing I think I forgot to mention on the side when I was looking at that was I'm actually running the Genrite aluminum bumpers I just painted to match the vehicle. And then on the back here, I'm running the Motobuilt, I think it's called a Crusher bumper, rear bumper. And then I'm also running the Motobuilt tire carrier, which is super beefy. It's supposed to be able to hold up to a 40-inch tire, and I've had no issues with it. I've had the bumper against the rock a couple times, and yeah, super strong. And I actually like the style and the looks of it as well. Moving to the inside of the back of the Jeep, been a few main change in the back. I had the back section of the goose gear plate system, which I had my fridge hooked to, but I've actually added the front section, which gives me just a better platform for when I'm going camping and or off-roading, whatever I'm doing. It just gives me a little bit more room, and I actually really like it. So I keep my recovery gear there, keep my some tools, the kit for airing up and airing down the tires, and just a few other things keep in there. It kind of keeps it out of the way, and which I really like. So got that. So I'm running the ARB fridge freezer, which I've been running for a long time. Works great. I really like it. Sure a lot better than those coolers with the ice slushing around and everything getting wet. But anyway, and then I'm also running their slider for it, so you can pull it out or get to it easier. And then got a fire extinguisher that I keep back here. And then we'll also, right back here, I've also got the ARB dual air compressor, which I use to air my tires back up. For my lockers, I actually run the e-locker, so I don't have to worry, so I don't have the compressor for that. But so that's pretty much just used for airing up tires, which I like it back here. It keeps it out of the dirt, keeps it clean, and it's only running when I'm airing up, so it works good. And then one thing that I changed underneath, I changed the exhaust, which is a MagnaFlow. It's like they called it, I think if I remember right, they called it a rock crawler special, because it tucks everything way up out of the way, and I've had no issues with that. That pretty much covers everything back here. Why don't we jump up in the front and take a look at some of the things I've got going up there. So inside the Jeep, not a lot's changed inside from the time before. Probably the only thing that I can think of is I've actually went to a rugged radio, hard mount that mounts here on the side of the shifter, and I really like that. I was running the handhelds, which the handhelds work good, but I got tired of trying to keep them charged up, and you'd go out and they'd die or they'd be dead, and so I finally went ahead and went to a hard mount, and I love it. it's just nice to be able to jump in, turn it on, and it works. But I do still have a handheld, so if you get outside the Jeep, you can use it to help guide or whatever, or just as a backup. I have the 67 design rail with the phone mount and a mini iPad mount, and then a ball mount that I can put a GoPro or on. That's pretty much all I use it for, just for the GoPro. And then, which that setup's worked really good for me. I've had that in here for a long time. I have a Jeep Unique mount over here, which allows me to put the rugged radio on, as well as my Garmin Mini, which I keep in here, so if I do have a problem, I can actually contact somebody. So that's a GPS unit. I don't know, I really like it. I think it's something you just should have if you're going to be out and outdoors, especially by yourself. So anyway, the only other thing I've got in here that's not, that's different from stock is I do have a brake controller, so that it'll work the brakes on my turtleback trailer. And so that works really well. But anyway, so it's pretty basic in here, nothing too crazy, just your basic mounts to carry a few things, and your radio, the CB, or it's a GMRS radio. And I don't know, it works good. I like how clear it is. It works really good. So that pretty much wraps up the interior. I think that pretty much covers it. One thing I do have is on the back of the seat, I do carry a first aid kit. I always keep it in here. That's worked really well too, just to have it here. Just haven't really had to use it, but it's always nice to have just in case. Maybe if you have it, hopefully you never have to use it. Anyway, so there we go. That kind of wraps up the inside here.
One thing I forgot to mention when I was going through all this was I do have a set of rock lights from ProComp.
So the only other thing I have on my Jeep at this time is I do have the Rhino Rack platform system, which I put on there so I could run a rooftop tent if I wanted to, or they've got a lot of attachments and stuff that I can run off of that if I'm not running the rooftop tent. Right now I do have the rooftop tent on. That'll, depending on what I'm doing, whether it's on there or not. Some of the times it'll be on there. Sometimes I'll be using ground tent. Sometimes I'll be using the turtleback trailer, which I pull behind, which is probably what I'll use a lot in the summertime. But anyway, so that works. It's working really good. I haven't had it on there a long time. But the nice thing is I can take the whole works off if I want to go rock crawling or do, more difficult stuff, and get the weight off the top, because it's not terrible having that up there, but you can definitely feel that it's up there on certain situations. Even going down the road, you can feel it when it rocks. It just feels a little different. So, but it's nice this time of year if we go camping or do anything like that. I can just throw that up, especially if we're in the snow and don't have to worry about setting up a ground tent or trying to pull my trailer in the snow that, well, it just doesn't pull very good in the snow. So anyway, that's pretty much my build for my 2018 Jeep JLU. Been an awesome Jeep. I tell you what, it's the funnest vehicle I've ever owned. It's been a lot of fun, and I've gotten it built to the point now where, I mean, it's awesome with the heavier axles and the big tires and all the the armor on it, the bumpers and the rock sliders and everything. It's just nice because it's nice. I can get off on a really difficult trail, and then when I'm done, I air back up and I'm back on the main road, and it drives great down the road. So really happy with the way this has turned out at this point. Be nice to have a Hemi somewhere down the way. I hope to do that. But anyway, so that's my build. That's where I'm at right now. I don't see anything major changing here in the next, near future. But anyway, we do have, I do have another build I'm working on pulling together, just waiting for the vehicle to come in. And if you like this build, you're gonna love this next build. So if you want to see that, you better hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it. And hopefully that will be in the next probably 2 months. They told me it's 1st of January now. They told me the end of January or February. I'm going to say give it a couple months, and the way things are going nowadays, it could be longer than that. But I'm hoping within the next two months I'll have that, and then we'll start the build on that and be able to show you what we're doing there. So yeah, hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss that. Anyway, there we go. I guess we'll see you on the next video.